Hello, Buzzcocks, and welcome back to Space Age Factorio, where last time we filled quite a few of our hexagonal shapes with science production. We have red science here, we have the green one there, and then we have the chemical science down here. And to help us along, I have green circuits production here and red circuit production there. But the general pattern here is that we do not have enough delivery of iron, which is basically due to the fact that we're not loading fast enough. Maybe also we need more smelting here. We will address that eventually. But for now, we do produce the science packs in the new base setup, but we don't have a new science lab setup. That's the word. And we also don't have military science. And those are two issues I want to rectify today. So, in order for military science, we basically have the materials, but we need stone bricks. And we have an awkward stone patch here, and what I want to do is mine this part that's inside this section, have a station for stone loading here, smeltery down on this side, and then have bricks loading there. And that should then enable us to set up military science production quite easily. With the stone mining set up and running in the background, I think we can turn our attention to figuring out how to set up the military science. And last time we did rush through a bit with all the science and side products, so let's take it slow today and take it step by step. So first thing is figuring out what we need and in which quantity we need it. Now let's use the hull mod for that. We say we are using the blue assembly machines and we want one yellow belt output. So that means we have 100 assembly machines for that. How much do we need for the walls? That's probably the easiest ingredients. There we need 10. And for the grenades, those are also pretty straightforward. There we need 80. And then ammunition. There we need 30. That's not that bad. And we need yellow ammunition. There we need 10. So we see we have this ratio of 1 to 3. So in the classic setup, you would build this kind of like this, with the red ammunition going here, and then have yellow there. And that's probably not that bad of an idea to keep that. We might be able to improve on that, to have it a bit more compact, to have it in this fashion, to have a better throughput. And then we can have iron going that way, and then steel and copper this way. And if we look at the materials that we need, we need one red belt for the yellow ammunition, and we need a bit more than one red belt copper-wise. So probably we will have red belt copper, then that's the steel, and at some point we will add another yellow belt of copper onto here to replenish the belt. But first, I think we have to figure out how to set up the train stations, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials that we need to deliver, and one material that we have to pick up. And so far, that turns out quite nicely, because we are in a hexagon which has 6 sides, so we can have one train station on each side. I managed to put in all 6 stations, and while I said we have 6 sides, it's not possible to add a station on this diagonal, kind of diagonal sections. So we have 2 on either side here, and then the pickup here at the top, and here at the bottom we have the coal station. And so far everything is set up with trains and so on to deliver here to the middle, and we can begin to think about how to lay out the factory itself. And the way I approach this usually is working backwards. I think in this case it really helps. If we look, we need 100 assemblers for the bottles, and if we look at setups like here, we basically have those in rows, with the output. Here we have the output in the middle, and then the input on 2 belts on the outside, and I think that's a good setup. And we just have to figure out how many assemblers we want to have in one line. And if we say we do 10, and then have another 10 on the other side of the output belt, that gives us 20 per column, which means we would need 5 columns for the whole thing, which I think is not that much, because I think here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, and we can see we can have seven columns fit in nicely. So if we have a bit of room here on the side, that fits nicely. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then Here in the middle we have output, and we do not need huge amounts of input. If we would have all 100 assemblies on one belt, we would be sufficient with one belt for the walls and then a shared belt for ammunition and the grenades. But as we have it, we will have one belt for one yellow belt here on this side, and then a second one where we will have the shared ammunition and grenades. Then here, the other side, just do the same. Get rid of any stone. And here we want to have, oh, that needs to be the other way around. We have input in the middle, output in the middle, and then we just have long-handed inserters on the side. That then means we have something like this, and if we continue this up, we need the next set of poles here, and we can have a lamp there. I think with a lamp every other pole, that will be sufficient. And then here, of course, we will have another two belts, and then on the other side of these two belts we can have the next column, and this is quite restrictive in the space that we need. So let me place all 5 columns in, and then we can see about the other things that we need to build to fill our belts here. First part is done with the output and the input let out, and this is where we want to have our walls going. And the way I think this works is we will have wall production somewhere down here in this corner. It should be pretty simple. We need 10 assemblers, so if we have double line, that's 5 assembler on each side. We need quite a bit of stone for that, so more than we can fit on one red belt actually. So probably we should switch this out with red belts. With 2 red belts we will not yet reach full capacity, because 2 red belts, that's 60 bricks per second, and we would need not 2 blue belts, but we can upgrade this later, because I think we will not need that much military science all the time. So when we are doing research where we don't need military science, we can stockpile. I think walls are pretty easy, so we can skip that for now and concentrate on the grenades. The grenades are challenging because here we also need 80 assembly machines. We have coal down here, and we have iron here on this side. So I think we want to have this somewhere in this bottom area, and let's see if we squeeze this in here. We need quite a bit of coal. So if we have output here and then this that way, let's move that one up, because then we can make another one, and we can make this corner here. And then let's see, can we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. So if we do a 20 length line, we can double this up, and then we are at 40. Then we only need 2 columns. However, I think we then need to have these lines for the input to be red belts. So this setup will be quite similar to what we have up there for the signs, and that should leave quite a bit of room in here for our ammunition production, which we already have thought about. The setup for the grenades here is done, as is the one for our walls, and everything input and output is hooked up, so that leaves us with quite a bit of space here in the middle. If we check back to our recipe, we need 3 times the amount of assemblers for the red ammunition than we need for the yellow one. So I think I had that the wrong way around initially, but we can switch this around to have 1 assembler for the yellow, surrounded by 3 for the red one. So that means these 2 want to be red. Then this one wants to be red, and this one wants to be yellow. And what amounts do we need here? We need quite a lot of copper. So that would then be like this, and not, of course, the other way around. We have this going here, then that, and here bring this up from down there. That works. And then we need steel. Steel, there we're good with a yellow belt. Somehow we need to get that here as well. And then we have this like that. Inserters, inserters. And that does it. That is one module. So let's extend these up here. Actually, this wants to be like that. Right? Yes, that looks correct. So, power rise. Let's do it this way. And have a lamp here in the middle. And then we should be able to take this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. That's half the amount. And then we can just say, let's bring this whole thing over and have our 10 slots here. And now that we basically halved the amount here, we should be able to have yellow belt for our iron, because 5 assemblers need 15 iron, so we can split 1 red belt into 2 yellow ones. And with that, I will finish that construction up, hooking everything up, and hopefully then we can see military science going. Who spotted the mistake I did in the last segment? I forgot the output line, and that's why it got a bit complicated, but it afforded me with a bit of a challenge to basically have here 3 belts side by side with inserting and outputting, so we have long-handed inserter that cross over each other. And with that in place and hooked up, we are already producing military science. Great success, I think. So the next thing and the last thing for today is to actually also set up a new lab, and I think we can do it down here. And this lab setup, we will eventually redesign it as we get the more powerful labs, but we will have quite a few science bottles coming in, so just having 6 stations will not be sufficient. So what I was thinking of doing is basically having, we're driving out this way, so we are having stations here, and let's see, need a signal there, and we can come in from this side. And this way we can have quite a few stations here. We might even replicate the same thing on the top side, depending on how many I can actually fit in here. And then we will have the actual research here in the middle, which I think is plenty of space for what we need. And if we have not enough, then we just copy the whole setup and have 2 science labs. So let me figure this one out, and then hopefully we can set something up and restart our science research. I managed to squeeze in 7 stations for science, which I think is perfect because that's all the science we will cover in this series, and I have set it up with quite a large array of labs. However, in the bigger picture it does not cover that much space, and all that we need to do is go around to our trains and say get a move on. They probably all want to go to refueling first, which is not a problem. That one waits for a free station, and then we have this one down here. Yeah. So soon we should see our trains arriving, and we can pick a new research. And I think we will focus a bit on the military side of things, because we are falling a bit short there. So let's get all this out of the way. Then also military 3 laser turrets, so we can progress towards tanks and so on, and that should help us with dealing with the alien factor a bit more easily. But let's wait until we have some trains arriving here so we can see how this works. The military science train was the last one to arrive. It lagged a bit behind with production. It was also the last factory that we put up, so actually timing was pretty good because it's not that long that we waited. But as you can see, with this many labs, the research goes quite expediently. And with that, I leave you for today, and next time we will have an exciting other project to tackle, because if we look up here at our original base, I cleared some things up, mainly everything related to science, but we still have this part up here that also needs replacing, and we will tackle that next time. Until then, goodbye.